Good evening, Facebook, and welcome to Wednesday Night Wellness Live. Dr. Andrew Merrill here at Nightlight Chiropractic, and I'm just finishing up my shift here this evening. Apparently, there's a lot of people who needed chiropractic care work this evening. And this is it. You found our video, and we're bringing to you the common topics and themes that we see week in, week out. And all of the patients are telling me the same thing right now. They're having some extra issues because of the season. And what a season, right? So apparently there's a few things going on here, right? Apparently, first of all, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I got my nice pink here, rocking it. I highly recommend that you get checked. I'm going to leave it at that, right? So if there's a history of breast cancer in your family, definitely get checked. Understand that it is a disease that affects a lot of folks out there. And I'm going to stop right there on that because I'm highly underqualified to talk about that. So just understand and support Breast Cancer Awareness Month here in October. It's also First Responders Day. So if you are or know a first responder, say thank you for all the hard work that they do out there. Let's see, also Halloween coming up this weekend, right? So that's a thing. That's always a good time. There's also an election, I think, going on here next week. Just really crazy busy time. And to top it all off, here we are just getting into autumn and then pushing on to winter. It does not feel like autumn or winter here in Orlando. It is still incredibly hot. But I'm told that in other parts of the country, it is not as incredibly hot. So I wish that I was there. I'm kind of jealous if you're in one of those cooler climates. But there's a few things that come along with Hispanic Month. Happy Hispanic Month out there. There's a few things that come along with autumn and winter weather and climate and changes to what we're doing as a society that actually lead to some more common conditions that we're starting to see here in the office already. So I wanted to talk about them here with you this evening. We're going to rattle through some of the common problems, and then I'm going to talk about some of the things that interplay into some of those common conditions, right? And so there's a common theme here, and it's really important that you understand this. So it's both the environment that we're in and what you are doing that contribute to these common conditions being so common. Right? So understand that it's the common theme as I'm talking about all of these different things. Put two and two together to understand it's your environment and what you are doing to yourself here a little bit. So let's jump right into it here. Most common thing that we hear about is cold, flu, and other viruses, especially coronavirus, still lurking around. I guess there's not really a season for coronavirus, right? But there is for cold and flu, right? We call it the flu season for a reason, and it's because it's most commonly spread and much more abundant here in these few months. Some reasons for that. I mean, you really don't see your friends aren't saying, oh, I got the flu in like July, right? It's very, very rare. A lot of that has to do with the fact that we are outside more, right? So as the cooler months start to approach, as the kids are going back to school, you'll see people with the clogged sinuses, with the one nose is stuffed, the other nose is drippy, scratchy throats, they feel terrible, and it all goes along with that flu. So if you want to make sure that you are not likely to contract that flu, we want to make sure that we're washing our hands the same as we would with coronavirus, because we know that washing our hands breaks open that virus, so it inactivates the virus and you can't catch it or spread it once it's inactivated. And then also you want to be proactive about anytime you're encountering people who might be sick. And that's not just coronavirus, that's also the flu and even the common cold. It's no fun, right? I mean, maybe the common cold's not going to kill you, but it's no fun and you don't want to go spreading that around. So we want to be proactive in our preventative measures for colds and flus. We're going to talk about some other preventative measures for the flu, including vaccinations here in just a minute. I will get to it. It's important. It's high on my list of things to talk about here, and we're going to talk about it. Well, one of the things that we're seeing most commonly here in our chiropractic office is increased arthritis, right? So as patients are in colder climate, if they're in more brisk temperatures, they're complaining of more joint pain. Here in Orlando, actually, we see this much more commonly when the barometric pressure changes because of huge tropical storms or hurricanes that are passing by us. Anytime the barometric pressure drops, the pressure inside your joint in relation to the outside pressure goes up. And when that pressure goes up, it starts to stimulate all those nerve endings. It feels more painful. When the barometric pressure changes, you end up with more pain. If you have arthritis, it's going to hurt more, right? And we're going to talk about ways that you can go about fixing that. So one of the other things that we're seeing, right, is asthma and allergies, right? And I'm suffering with this constantly throughout the year. It doesn't even matter, but we're seeing it much more. Cold, dry air affects asthma sufferers. When you couple that with the fall season and having some extra pollen in the air potentially, you get the worst case scenario there. Then you put people inside in drier conditions as the air conditioner or the heater is trying to accommodate your house for you. It dries out some of the air and you get the perfect storm for some more asthma and some more allergies even. So what are we talking about what are we gonna do? So what are we gonna do, right? I mean, if you're one of these people who you always get sick this time of year, you always hurt worse this time of year, here's the 5 things that we're gonna do and pay attention to make sure that this year is different, right? 2020 sucks. 2020 has been absolutely horrible, and I wanna make it just a little bit better for you by saving these last 3 months. 2 months, November, December, whatever it is. I want to help to save you some pain and discomfort. So here's what we're going to do, right? First of all, the school season started August, September. Your kids are much more likely to bring this stuff home. You want to make sure that they're washing their hands just as much. But the other thing, and I mentioned it just a minute ago, you should be getting the flu shot this year, right? And here's what I'm saying. And if you want to make some commentary on this, I'd love to hear some commentary on this. So I have always been a strong believer in vaccinations, right? Across the board, I like vaccinations. They've saved a lot of lives over a long time here now. No debate there, right? I mean, you can debate me all day long. I'll be here, but vaccinations across the board have been beneficial, and I hope we all agree on that. There's one vaccination that I have always kind of said, except that one. That one I don't really like, and it's the flu vaccine, right? And it's this flu vaccination, and my sticking point with it has always been, it's not quite as effective as a lot of these other vaccinations, right? And so a lot of years it only has like a 40, 50, 60% effective rate, and that means that if you get the flu vaccine, you're still half as likely. I mean, it sounds better when I say it that way, I guess, but it's still a 1 in 2 chance that you get the flu or don't get the flu if you're exposed. And to me, that's always kind of been a negative thing, right? I've always kind of said, well, maybe the flu, maybe not the flu. But I took my boys the other day to get their flu vaccine. I still have to go get mine, but I am going to get mine this year because I think it's that important. And you can't have it both ways in your mind, right? So we have got the coronavirus out there, and you can't say, okay, I'm going to wear masks and I'm not going to shake hands and I'm going to stand 6 feet away from people, but I'm not going to get the flu vaccine, right? You have to either buy it all part and parcel. You buy germ theory a little bit. I mean, you can't do it a little bit. You have to do it all or nothing. So if you believe in coronavirus, then you need to believe in the flu and you need to believe in the flu vaccine. And so this year I'm changing my tune, right? I got the right to do that. I'm changing my tune, and the flu vaccine is something that you should be doing this year to make sure that you have a great end to your 2020. All right, so what else are we going to do? So we're going to make sure that we are not over dehumidifying our house. Now, I might be a little underqualified to talk about this too. If you know more about ACs than me, chime in at any time. But the more that we're running our air conditioning and our heating, one of the things that it does is dehumidifies the air. And if you do that to a great extent, you end up with air that's too dry. If you're prone to an asthma attack, if you're prone to some bad allergies or some stuffiness that goes along with it, you want to make sure that you're getting a humidifier. That way you can put it close to you when you're sleeping. You're humidifying the air, allowing some of your airways to be a little bit wetter. It's going to make sure that you don't suffer quite as much with the asthma and allergies, okay? So easy, quick thing that you can do. If you're drying out your air a lot, if you're having trouble because of it, put a humidifier next to you. Simple, quick, painless, easy. Amazon's got them right now. I could probably be at your house before I'm done talking. Third thing, poor indoor air quality. So my AC guys would love me for actually saying this on air because they chastise me all the time, even though I'm really good about this. But you want to make sure that you're changing your filter every single month during this time of year. Because you're going to be inside more, you want to make sure that your air quality is as good as it can be. If you're inside more, you want to make sure that your house is as clean as it can be, right? So taking a little extra time to clean up your house is going to make sure that the air quality in your house stays good, right? Very, very simple stuff. A little bit of extra time cleaning. I know you're like, I thought you were going to make these last 2 months of my 2020 better, Dr. Merrill. That doesn't sound better. But seriously, folks, there's a lot of research out there showing that the better your indoor air quality is, the healthier you are, right? Very plain and simple, boopity boop, right? Get the humidifier and then make sure that your AC is working properly and your house is clean. It will help, folks, trust me. All right, so on to bigger and more pressing concerns. Right around this time, there's something called seasonal affective disorder that happens, and it's linked to a variety of things. So one, it gets darker outside, right? It's pitch dark outside right now. I'm still here at the office. And so what happens is we're not getting as much sunlight. We're not getting as much vitamin D exposure. We're not getting as as much of the hormonal effect of being outside in the sunlight as anything else. And it leads to depression, and depression leads to pain. So what do we need to do? We need to really hone in on our sleep. We need to try and match our sleep to the sunlight a little bit, which means that you're going to have to go to bed earlier and wake up a little bit earlier if you want to really get the full exposure of that sunlight. You also need to be a little bit more compassionate this time of year, right? The holidays are tough. If you've lost a loved one, during the holidays is a really tough time for you. Look out for your fellow man right now. I know that we're in the middle of a really tough election cycle, but now is the time to really throw out good things into the universe and good karma, because who knows who needs it right now in 2020. The last thing, and maybe the most important thing, and probably the thing that you thought I was going to talk about this entire time, is there is literally a holiday every 3 weeks or so for the rest of the year, right? Here in a couple of days, it's going to be Halloween, which is full of alcohol and candy, right? And if you are trying to just light up your immune system and have a really bad inflamed time, that's how you do it, right? A few Snickers bars and a few cocktails, that's going to go ahead and get your inflammation way up so that you feel the most pain. And then again, we do that for Thanksgiving, and then a few weeks later, we do that for Christmas. A few days after that, we do it again for New Year's. And you want to make sure that you're not just using the fact that we've got a few holidays here to just go overboard for 2 months. Right? That's not what you want to do here, folks. What you want to make sure that you're doing is, if you're going to overindulge, it only happens like those 3 days, right? If you have 3 bad days, but like 60 or so good days, you're going to be just fine. You're not going to gain a bunch of weight. You're not going to be extra inflamed. Just balance it out a little bit, folks, okay? I mean, you're allowed to cheat once in a while, but if cheating once in a while becomes cheating every day, just eating like crap because you don't care anymore and you've given up because 2020 is a dumpster fire, it's not going to work out well for you. You're going to end up with more depression, more pain, more arthritis, maybe even a higher risk of getting colds and flus and coronavirus, right? And we don't want any of these things. So I would highly recommend, now is not the time to give up on all of your dieting goals. It's the time to really buckle down, have a few cheat days throughout the rest of the year, but really focus on making sure that there's lots of fruit, lots of veggies, lots of lean meats on the plate throughout most of this. Anyways, that's all I have for this evening. Thank you all so much for watching. It's great catching up and seeing all of you on here. If you ever have questions for me, you can always hit me in the comments section. You can go look at these videos on Nightlight's Facebook page. You can go find Nightlight Chiropractic on YouTube, watch some old videos. We also have a blog, nightlightchiropracticonline.com. I got a couple questions here about zinc and vitamin D. Big fan of both of them. Zinc actually activates your immune system. Great, take it. Vitamin D, you probably want to supplement, but be careful. Remember, we can overdose on vitamin D. So you can take a small amount of international units, probably around 5,000 international units a day. I would not go above that. Going above that, you really risk vitamin D toxicity. It would be bad for you. Anyways, I will see you all next week. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Happy Halloween, happy voting, happy election day, and have a great rest of your week. Be healthy. Good night.